Hey, 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 what is going on, IK Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and we are back again today for some more IK goodness. Alright, I want to talk today about doing a review for the Thanksgiving event and just give you my thoughts on it. How did it go? How much were we able to get? Because this was another seasonal event that, in my opinion, was just a little bit lackluster in what it offered and what you were just able to get as a free to play player. So before we get started talking about that, dissecting the goodies, make sure you guys sub, like the video, of course, ring that notification bell. And again, if you'd like to be a part of our conversation, you can join our Discord, which you can find in the pinned comment or in the description. Okay, without further ado, we got about a third of a day left here before it ends. And I just want to talk about what the process was for going. So, in short, I actually liked the creativity that they provided with how you could get as far as by I don't know. I almost just want to say stuffing the turkey, right? Where you'd complete these tasks and you could go in order, right? So I liked how they didn't limit it to just stages, even though we can't see it now. But as you're doing that, right, and you're kind of going through those tier rows on the initial column, right, you could submit the turkeys to the turkey god, and you're able to, finish a stage, then immediately move on to a new stage, and you don't have to wait a day or a timer for something to be unlocked. So I actually really liked that part because it allowed for players to progress essentially at their own pace. So that was something I did appreciate. The second thing I will say about the event is probably more specifically when it comes to the actual rewards. Now, for me, this is something that we can see here, right, from Sweetness Gathering, is that you have these pies, right? Now, the pies, from our understanding, is that you could only purchase these, right? So they can only be earned if you spend real money. Then we get to what everyone gets, right, when you do the typical gathering, resources, gathering from your production sites, attacking gnomes and gnome bosses, right? Those are the four standard pillars that we've been seeing across a good amount of our seasonal events. And then we get to the tasty sweets corn, right? Now, these are all the things you could get. You can get a 7-day trial here on the King's Feast. You could get Elite Immortal optional chests. Frags you could get. Now keep in mind only 3. You could get 150 shard here for one of the elites. You could do 10 3 hours. Then you could get up to 100 5 minutes. Which, dear God, if I could do math, what's that? 12 is an hour, right? 12, yeah, because 60, yeah. Gosh, 12 times, what is that? Let's just say 9, so 8. Yeah, so you could get about, what is that, 96? So you're looking at 8 hours, 20 minutes that you could get total here. And then you could do 100 of the basic resources, right? Which would be, what is that, 200,000 gold, right? If you were able to do everything here. So again, I think the rewards, in my opinion, as far as for what you could get as a free-to-play player, were just okay, decent, maybe at best. But keep in mind, other seasonal events allowed for you to get some of these better rewards. Like at least the Miracle of Goddess, right? We've been able to see Philo stones along with the 1,000 major AP recovery. A lot of these that you could only buy. Again, it's interesting to me when I do assessments and reviews on events because there's times where it started out, right, when we go back to things like the Christmas event, which was absolutely fantastic last year. You look at the build-up now to things, for example, such as the Hunter Festival, which we didn't really see a lot of good value, in my opinion, for how much time and just how many resources you had to put into that for what you were going to get. And then we eventually move forward to kind of more favorable seasonal events that we have liked. And then I think like the Easter event was one example of one that I thought was really good. And then we now get to this Thanksgiving event at Sweetness Gathering, and they're just gating essentially the best rewards when in some of the other previous events, a lot of these rewards were available to the free-to-play. So I just think it's very important that we find a balance, that we don't kind of keep going back and forth, right? Let's remain consistent going forward in the rewards that we put out, right? Now, again, part of this event I did like, but when it comes to the rewards portion, right, that is something that, you always often hear me say, right, just make these cost a little bit more, right? I mean, even if you look at this, right, I spent normal AP throughout the entire event. And without me spending extra AP, I was able to almost get, right, everything here for how much they cost. With that being said, I would have had to spend, right, a decent amount of AP, maybe do some resource boosts, other things in areas, right, maybe do some increased gathering speed boosts, right, so I could gather faster to get more potential rewards quicker. These are things that I think are okay to do, right? Using some of your resources if you want to max out these events is no problem. I think making the points cost the amount that they do, based on what we saw in this event, right? That's from me using my 1600 AP at VIP 15, right, daily. And I still wasn't able to do everything, which means that there is going to be a needed amount of resources you're going to have to use to get the rest. I think that is appropriate. But I do think that the rewards, when it comes to things like, the Epic Immortals, I think the Philo Stones, the 1,000 APs, I mean, geez, even the 24-hour speed-ups, I think things like these, and even, I mean, everything here, essentially. I think all of these need to be available to the free-to-play, but you need to, of course, scale it appropriately. Right, make them cost a certain amount, make people have to use some of their resources, right, to invest if they want to get some rewards and better rewards out of these events. Because for a big part of our time, right, is just players in general, regardless on what level you fall under, is you are grinding on a daily basis and you're hoarding a lot of resources, and those resources you're waiting to decide on what and where to invest them in. So I think things like these, if we make these rewards a little bit more available, right, to the free-to-play, we'll probably see a better return and better engagement from players as well in how they view these things, especially with now that we know they're going to end up increasing levels. These are things to consider and think about, right, when it comes to, hey, here's now more ways that we can give free-to-play a lot of these rewards after we end up later on increasing levels, as they've already announced will eventually happen over a period of time. This is just a nice addition, right, to bring that up so people feel like they're still getting good value out of these events, at least when it comes to the rewards, or I should say from the rewards pages where they're claiming or redeeming. That is it for me. I, of course, want to know your thoughts. What did you think about this event, right, as a free-to-play from someone, if you didn't spend money to do the pies, right? Do you think that some of these rewards should have been included as the free-to-play, right? As a free-to-play, were you able to get everything here? And if so, how many more resources did you actually have to use from your inventory in order to do that? Right? Did you feel like you could complete everything, at least on the free-to-play side, within the allotted amount of time that they gave you for the event? I'd love to hear anything and everything you guys are thinking in those comments down below. That's it for me. I'm out. Until next time, we'll catch y'all later.